100%.
But Guta is calling for price reduction.
Reduction, okay.
Our Food and Beverages Association is calling for price reduction. I think I'll get back to you. Mr. Martin Oyen Enip is on the line. Good morning, Mr. Martin.
Yeah, good morning, Clement. How are you doing?
We are doing wonderful, Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin, this conversation, I know you followed. From the businessman, may understand that price reduction can take effect immediately. Do you agree to that?
Yes, thank you for having me this morning. I was supposed to be in the studio. Unfortunately, I'm sorry for that, and I'm sorry to your viewers.
Okay.
Yes, of course. Whenever there's this term in economy is that prices are always downward sticky.
Yeah. What
it means is that during periods that the expectations that prices will go up, they rather go up than when the expectation that prices are supposed to go down. They don't really respond at the speed at which the price reduction is supposed to be. Normally, that is not the case. There are genuine reasons why that happens. Even though we are seeing an appreciation in the performance of the city, the reason why you not see an immediate reduction in prices of items is one, some of the producers or the sellers have stocks that are old and they bought them at higher exchange rates. So they couldn't just go ahead and reduce those items and sell at the prevailing exchange rate prices because that would have been a loss to them.
Okay.
Also, the only reason why you will not see price reduction is that unless we become very certain that there will not be a reversal of the current appreciation of the city, you don't expect businessmen to respond immediately. It will take some time. When we become very certain that this appreciation or the stability in the performance of the city will be sustainable into the medium term. So in the short term, you don't expect that prices will go up because one, people have old stock that they bought at the higher prices due to the higher exchange rate then, and two, unless we become very certain that this appreciation of the better performance of the city is one that will be sustainable in the future. Because when you do that and then the exchange rate further depreciate, the city further depreciate, then you will be at a loss. Also, this is the time for businessmen to make some gain out of this, because in the earlier, if they made any loss because of the depreciation of the city, and now that the city is now performing, then they will want to push in themselves and make some profit now to cover for the earlier losses that they would have made as a result of the depreciation of the city in the past. So these are the reasons why you will not see an immediate downward trend in prices. But in the medium term, when it becomes very certain that no, this performance of the city is sustainable, and then when that will feed the continuous appreciation of the city will feed into our petroleum prices, which is a very important component in determining transportation fares. So that will impact our food prices that we bring from the farm gate, and then it will lead to a reduction in the prices of goods and services. So in the medium term, you don't expect any reduction in prices. But as we move forward into the medium term, when it becomes very clear that the performance of the city will be sustained, then that is when you see that businessmen will respond, and then that will increase the prices that we will expect to see in the future.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Martin. I think Mr. Francis Osei in the studio is really smiling because you've really said what he wanted to say. But I want to get back to Doug Joseph. Doug, we would like to understand. Now the conversation is that prices might not go down, but Guta is calling for price reduction. Food and Beverages Association is calling for price reduction. From January to May 2025, we realized that the city has appreciated by 10.57%. So looking at this kind of stability, Doug, would you agree to the fact that there should be price reduction? Because consumers are saying that whenever there is a dollar goes up, even today when dollar should goes up, businessmen automatically shoot up prices. So if they shoot up prices instantly when dollar goes up, then why don't they reduce the prices when dollar has come down? Doug, please, I would like to respond to this question.
There is something that we say that prices are sticky downwards. Or better the wages are sticky downwards, prices are sticky downwards. They are all the same. We do not expect a businessman who has gone to import from January at a very high rate and still have stock as at May to immediately reduce prices because the dollar is falling. This businessman bought his goods when the rate was about 18 or 17 Ghana cedis. He imports wheat for about 2 months. He gets to Ghana, put it in the warehouse that he's to pay, and sell for a period of about 2-3 months until he's running out of stock. And you tell the businessman that you bought at 18, dollar has reduced, so reduce your prices. How can this businessman go back and buy again? I don't know the basis of the call from Guta. I am also an importer.
Okay.
I have imported goods from Ghana is an import-driven economy.
Yeah.
So that is how it is. I import goods from China somewhere in April. I'm yet to receive the goods in Ghana. When at the time I was importing, the dollar was about 16.
Okay.
You expect me to immediately reduce the price, forgetting that by the time I am done selling whatever I have imported, it's possible that the dollar might even go up. There is a high level of uncertainty when it comes to exchange rate issues. And so you do not expect a businessman to immediately reduce the dollar.
So
the reason why they will immediately increase the price of the goods when the dollar goes up is that when they have to go and buy again, they may not have the capital to go and buy if they don't increase the price of the goods immediately at the stock level they have.
But Doc, if they do that, it means that they are getting abnormal profits because you imported the items at a lesser cost, and now you are selling it, let's say, at a profit margin of 2%. Because you heard that dollar has gone up, you just instantly added the value or the change in dollar to your item again, which might end up getting abnormal profits. Or
no, it doesn't work like that.
Okay.
It doesn't work like that because it is not just the purchase of the item. There are so many other costs that comes with you even warehousing the commodity at the place. And paying individuals who are even working for you. There are so many other things that it is not just the price of the commodity that you put a margin on.
Okay.
It is all the other costs that affect the price of the commodity.
Okay.
In addition, so you do not expect if this rate is even stable for the next 2-3 months, you will see that businessmen will start reducing their prices if it is stable.
Okay.
But because if it is stable, then they have the foresight to actually calculate and find out what will be their profit margin with the inclusion of all the cost that comes with it. So if it is stable, you will see that price will start dropping.
Okay.
But now that you don't even know, there is high level of uncertainty. And as I pointed earlier on, the factors that are causing this fall are all temporal factors. We can't expect businessmen to start reducing the prices. And I do not understand the basis for UTAG, the Ghana Beverage Society,
Food and Beverages Association,
telling their customers, telling their members to start reducing prices. It doesn't work like that.
Okay, thank you.
Like that.
Thank you very much.
A high level of uncertainty, so you have to do a lot of calculations before they start reducing. Because you see, when you reduce your price today and the following day you start increasing it, you begin to lose your customers.
Okay, please.
So
okay,
if they are reducing their prices, they need to be sure of the level of certainty before they start reducing their prices.
Okay, Doug, we will get back to you. Let me get back to Mr. Francis Osei. According to Doug, he said we are going to experience some reduction, assuming the city should be stable for about 2-3 months. Is that so?
Exactly. I think his name is Joseph, right?
Yes.
I think he's more into our field.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. If the dollar should stay in the next 2 months or so, I will be forced to reduce my goods. Why? Because we are in a competitive market. Definitely, you bring the same stuff that I bring, and then the dollar have stayed for about 3 months, and I'm still selling at the price that I still sell, which is wrong. When you bring yours and you reduce, I will be losing. Less customers will be coming to me, which means I will definitely reduce. So let's just relax. When the time comes, everything will reduce. But for me, I don't think this dollar stuff is going to stay. I don't believe. Yeah.
But this is what the finance minister is saying. Let producers will display it on the screen. He said, the stability and appreciation you are witnessing is not knee-jerk reaction. It is a product of careful, well thought out planning. That's what the finance minister said. It is a careful and well thought out planning. I know Mr. Martin also have a reaction to this. He just had another statement which said that I want to use this opportunity to assure all of you that what you are seeing, that is the appreciation of the city, will not only continue but will be sustained. It will not only will not only continue, but it will be sustained. Let me get the last one so we respond to that. He says that this is not a 9-day wonder. There will be stability. The city will be stronger, and we expect you to support these efforts so that Ghanaians can feel the impact. That is to the businessmen. And the last one he said when he had a meeting with the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, he said, I emphasize to the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana that food prices, which had been unreasonably high, must start to fall drastically. Encouragingly, they confirmed that some reductions are already happening, but we need more. This is the finance minister speaking. Please, what will you say before I get back to Mr. Martin on that statement?
You know, just like a businessman, he's also at his field.
Okay.
If this dollar is being reduced by this US-China trade war, they still think it's an advantage for them to advocate that they are doing well.
But are they not doing well?
For now, I can't tell, because we have to judge this when it's about 3 to 4 months to come, and we still have this dollar staying. Then we can talk about it. But for me, I don't believe.
You don't believe what you're saying?
I don't believe.
Okay,
seriously,
thank you. Thank you very much. Let me get to Mr. Martin on here. Hello, sir. Yes, sir. These are the words the finance minister said. That is Honorable Atufo said on the issue of the city recovery. What do you have to say regarding that?
That he made the point that the trajectory will be sustained, right?
Yes, he said it's going to be sustained, and this is not a 9-day wonder. And also, he had a meeting with the Beverages Association of Ghana, and he made them know that they should reduce their prices, and even they also told him that price reduction has even started. Do you think these words are okay?
Yes, of course. There are reasons why he made those points, both at the fiscal side and the monetary side. The government has made a lot of interventions to support the Ghanaian city. A very major intervention is the gold board mechanism, where earlier some our forest reserves that we make out of the export of our gold were smuggled out of the country, so we couldn't have or maximize the potentials or the foreign exchange reserves that we accumulate from the gold side. So what they have done fiscally is to bring in this Koko board mechanism in place for our gold, where we'll maximize the gains that we'll get from our or the foreign exchange that we'll get from our gold, and that will be then be supplied into the economy to support the city, to make the expectation that every week we'll get about $250 million. So if you are able to get that, that will support the city, and then it will continue the trajectory of its ability and appreciation. On the monetary policy side, the expectation is that the IMF deal is to continue to hike the policy rate, and you know what, policy rate feed into the exchange, the interest rate, and that may influence capital inflows into the economy and support the appreciation of the city.
Okay.
Also, when you see the gold accumulation that the Bank of Ghana is doing, their reserves have increased over the period.
Yeah.
Currently, we have 4.2 months import cover for foreign exchange reserves that we have with the Bank of Ghana. The expectation is that will engender confidence into the economy and will help investors to predict that in the future there will be possible interventions on the part of the central bank that may cause a further appreciation of the city, and that may lead to a second round further appreciation of the city, where people will be worried that the dollar they are holding do not have any value, and then they will come into the market to be able to come and supply things, and that can cause a further appreciation of the city and the good performance of the city against the dollar. Okay. It is against this background that the finance minister believes and has confidence in the measures and mechanisms that they have put in place, such that they will maximize foreign exchange reserves or foreign exchange from the gold export. They will also, the fiscal consolidation measures that be put in place at the ministry will help support the dollar for the city, and also the gold exchange program that the government is doing, and the monetary policy that is taken. The expectation is that when all this comes into play, it will support the city and bring up stability in macroeconomic environment.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me get back to Doc. And before I get back to hello, Doc. Please, are you there? Hello, Doc.
Yes, I'm still on the line, please.
Yes, Doc. Please. These are what the finance minister said. But before you respond to that, I want to ask this question: that what financial habits should ordinary Ghanaian inculcate in the process where the city is gaining its value? So what should an ordinary Ghanaian inculcate as a consumer, as a layman? What habits should we inculcate since the city is gaining its value? And you respond to this also you add that of the statement the finance minister made.
The average Ghanaian should keep his expectations or her expenditure.
Okay.
I do not expect the average Ghanaian to start changing his or her expenditure, especially for a consumer, because I do not know why you may want to change your expenditure because the dollar is reducing. It's appropriate that you keep doing whatever you are doing that has sustained you for the period. You wait till some further period. Then, if you see a level of stability, then you can begin to make adjustments in terms of consumption and investment.
Okay.
But for now, the average Ghanaian should be cautious of changing.
Okay.
And my good friend on the other phone has tried to give a good justification as to why the finance minister is saying that what they are doing, what we are seeing is a well thought through plan. I see the plan. I'm actually hoping that the finance minister will tell us that these are the measures that we have to put in place.
Okay.
And by these measures, we are sure that there will be stability. But we can't just tell us that there will be stability and then I'll believe it. At least let us have the plan, the well thought through plan, both on the fiscal side and the monetary side.
Okay.
That these are the things we are doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we can evaluate. The government is doing all these. And I see that these things are not just temporary. These things are things that will persist for a longer time. Then based on that, I can make my decision as to how much to even produce, consume, and all that.
Okay,
but this statement of well thought through plan these politicians can't even track their words. I actually wanted to see the point that two can have. And not just to make women expect Ghanaians to believe, because they have disappointed us over and over and over already.
Okay.
So the right justification is not there. That will keep the average producer or average entrepreneur. So that will keep him on that level of uncertainty, because I don't have anything to hold on to. There's nothing to hold on to.
Okay, Doc.
All these things we are seeing around us as a result of this dollar acquisition are only temporal.
Okay, they are only temporal. Okay.
They are not permanent.
Okay.
Give us a permanent plan for us to follow. And if you have such a plan, you should have reflected in the budget. In the budget, I complained. I didn't see any plan. With the exception of reducing taxes, increasing taxes, and I didn't see any plan.
Okay.
And so all of a sudden, these things are happening. You are telling us that it's a well thought through plan. Where did you think? Where did you think it to? Where is the reason starting from in the first place?
So Doc, I think
I'm still skeptical.
Okay, Doc. We would do this conversation, have this conversation again for the sake of our time. But Doc, your last words to viewers. Your last words.
My last words to viewers is that if you are a producer, please be very careful. Do your calculations right. Check how much you are using to buy your goods before you begin to make all necessary adjustments.
Okay, please.
Don't just rush. Don't just follow the political rhetoric and begin to make decisions based on political statements.
Okay.
Take your time, do your own calculations, and be sure, because the last thing you want to do is that you may want to prices. The next time the consumer comes to shop, you have increased it. That will kill your business.
Okay.
So take your time.
Okay, Doc.
Observe the trend for a period of time. If we have to all reduce, we will all reduce prices so that we will all be happy.
Okay, please.
But don't just rush in this decision.
Okay, thank you very much, Doc, for your time. We are so grateful. Thank you so much. Mr. Martin. Yeah, so Mr. Martin, for the sake of our time, we will end the conversation here, but your last words to viewers.
We are happy that we are seeing some appreciation there.
Okay.
At the city. Of course, it is important that we achieve some stability in our economy. So when you see exchange rate performance, you expect that will feed into other areas of the economy, and then will bring sense of reduction in the prices of goods and services in the medium term to the long term, bring engender confidence, growth, and productivity in the economy. So that's what the expectation is. We hope that the finance minister and the governor can continue to put in their policies in place to sustain this appreciation we are seeing in the city. But when there's continuous appreciation, sometimes the volatility in the currency, it does not help in planning. What we want to see is that when the downward trend continues, it should come and stabilize at the point.
Okay.
So it can help all businessmen and all stakeholders in the market to plan their business going forward. Okay,
thank you very much, Mr. Martin Ohin. And for the sake of our time, we'll end with you here and continue another day. Yes, back to Mr. Francis Osei. We are concluding our discussion today. But the last thing I would ask you, what advice will you give to young people who are starting up and this issue of CD performance has come to hit them? What advice will you give them?
What I would say is every business person should relax at the moment.
Okay.
And then we are pleading to our consumers. We are not their enemies.
Okay.
When prices come down, we will be very happy. But the pressure on us, reduce price, they should relax.
You should relax.
Because it wouldn't be fair if you come to my shop and buy something maybe at the price of 20 cedis, and in the next 2 months, dollar goes up and you come again and I say is. So they should relax. That we will have a stable able to use the dollar maybe for the let's say 5-6 months staying at a place, we will be able to do our calculations well, and then reduce prices.
Okay.
So new entrepreneurs should be very careful.
They should be very careful.
This is the time you can make it, this is the time you can lose, because business comes with pricing. When you change prices all the time, it affects your business.
End up losing.
So we should just relax
for a while,
and then we can.
Okay, thank you very much to Mr. Francis Osei, a businessman, and he deals in jewelry actually. So you can just hit him up wherever you want to, and his contacts would be at Clock TV Studios. Anytime you need jewelry, you can just contact him. Thank you to Dr. Joseph Nchibefi and also Mr. Francis and Mr. Martin Ohin Enim for this wonderful conversation. Thank you to viewers, and we know you've learned something. So consumers, all what they are telling you is kindly relax for them. For me, I'm not going to relax. We still have to push that they should have to reduce the prices of the item, but they said we should relax for them. And it has been a wonderful discussion, and I'm your host, and I've been driving this conversation. I am Clement Yabankwe. Don't go anywhere, because we have amazing a section just after this commercial break. Just stay tuned.
Hi music lovers, we are the Protagon.
So get ready for fun.
Whether it's singing along, dancing, or just soaking in the atmosphere, we have something for everyone. Expect surprise performances, exclusive behind-the-scenes stories, and a chance to connect with us like never before.
Don't miss out. So tell a friend to tell a friend.
And join us for Happy Hour.
Get ready to rock with us. Happy Hour with the Clockside Band.
Sing. I don't wanna wait.
Asamu maumatia yamane diania ubinka sebudushi neseshia ibikilika
Ngwari oba biase oba bo uba be mama mi bebe se bebi sese wunye ye
Wala ka twa kuna na hunu wo kali hunu wono anko ne yipeni na wo baako
e ba be abano mano
nye busi pani atrase ahedin oyire no mu mienu yi bi ni no ba be
kami se ko sie onye mado e me nya ye fo na me se me wo baby
ko sie efi wisa ba sada no efi atatu
wo mahama man kan chiro so na nanu enima akora no hwe
ni sia mamro phone aye di nipa moja na ya pa enu obetima sesa no so bu ene guso esan abrodi beyenti umbeso beye
ahom keto amaba mu dwama no
ebeni fosi baby ade ni dara se wan fanto beto wo ba da ben a obesisa amamre nimpo amamre na obesisa no wote ase
Are you a young person?
In a world where neutrality in the civil service is paramount, Ghana finds itself at a crossroad.
Clause Act says that a certain action should be taken, but government has to act on the basis of law. So we inquired as to what the premise for that demand is.
They say if you wish to broadcast or otherwise manifest your political allegiance or run political office, step away from the services. This is Supreme Court talking. It's not Klosak speaking or Isaac Wampado speaking. This is the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court judgment on the landmark case of Klosak versus the Attorney General has set the stage for a profound transformation. Introducing Resetting the Civil Service. Tune in to be part of this change, because a better civil service means a better Ghana.
I find it refreshing always when I remind myself of the profound statement by the eminent civil servant, the San Anankwa of blessed memory, to the effect that it is the perfection of the civil servant that will move this country forward, and not the politician.
To add all those test for application to something like this.
Yes. That's crazy. That was quick. He's going to be able to draw level. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Hi music lovers, we are the Koko Band.
So get ready for an unforgettable music experience on our upcoming show, Happy Hour with the Koko Band.
We are bringing you a night filled with electrifying tunes, good vibes, and a whole lot of fun.
Whether it's singing along, dancing, or just soaking in the atmosphere, we have something for everyone. Expect surprise performances, exclusive behind the scenes stories, and a chance to connect with us like never before.
So tell a friend to tell a friend.
And join us for Happy Hour.
Get ready to rock with us.
Happy Hour with the Koko Band.
Sing, I don't wanna wait.
Asamu maumachi ya mane diania ubinka sebudushi nesashia ibitini
ni wari oba biase oba be uba be mama mi be se be bi se wunu ye
Wala ka cho kana na hunu ho kani hunu wonu anko ne yiri pani na wo baako
e ba be aba no ma no
nye bu stepani na ase ahedin oyire no mu mienu yi obi ni ma ma ba be
ikutami nsem ko sie onye ma do emi nya ya fo na me se mo ba ebi
ko sie efi wisa ba sada no efi atati kwatati
wo mahama man kan chiro so na nanu enima akola no hwe
Ni si amamro phone ai moja na ya pa enu obetima sesa no so bu ene guso esan abrodi be yent umbeso be yen
ahom keto amaba mu dwamo no
ebeni fose baby ade ni dara so wan fan to ba feto o ba da ben a obesesa amamre nimpo amamre na obesesa no wote ase.
In a world where neutrality in the civil service is paramount, Ghana finds itself at a crossroad.
Clause Act says that a certain action should be taken, but government has to act on the basis of law. So we inquired as to what the premise for that demand is.
They say if you wish to broadcast or otherwise manifest your political allegiance or run political office, step away from the service. This is Supreme Court talking. It's not Klosak speaking or Isaac Wampado speaking. This is the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court judgment on the landmark case of Klosak versus the Attorney General has set the stage for a profound transformation. Introducing Resetting the Civil Service. Tune in to be part of this change, Because a better civil service means a better Ghana.
I find it refreshing always when I remind myself of the profound statement by the eminent civil servant, the Anankwa of blessed memory, to the effect that it is the perfection of the civil servant that will move this country forward, and not the politician.
Are you
add all those test like application to something like this. Yes.
Alright, that's quick. That's crazy. That was quick.
He's going to move to joy level.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Nungwari oba biase oba bo uba be mama mi bebe se bebi se wunu ye
Why ka cho kana na hunu ho? Kan ni na wo ba ko.
e ba be apa no ma no nye bo se penya trans ya hedin oyire no mu mienu yi bi ni ma ma oba be ikuta mi se ko se onye ma do e mi nya ya fo na me se mo be
7th, 2025 marks 120 days since I had the profound honor of being sworn in as the President of the Republic of Ghana for a new 4-year term. It is a day that I specifically noted on our calendar to come before you, the people of Ghana, to account for the critical firsts we promised to take in our initial months in office. Our campaign was anchored on the vision of building the Ghana we want together. And our manifesto, Resetting Ghana, laid out a bold yet pragmatic plan for national recovery and transformation. This plan was a social contract for the first 120 days, a set of specific actionable promises designated to enable us hit the ground running and signal our unwavering commitment to change. I stand before you tonight to update you on how we have delivered on these promises. To the people of Ghana and the world observing our progress, let me state clearly, we made promises and we have kept them. Our first 120 days have been defined by decisive action, a commitment to transparency, and a relentless focus on laying the foundation for building the Ghana we want, a just, prosperous, and united Ghana. Let me now walk you through the progress we have made on the specific commitments outlined in our 120-day social contract. We promise to form a lean and efficient government. I promise to nominate the complete list of cabinet ministers for parliamentary approval within the first 14 days and to constitute under the Fourth Republic as promised. I announced the complete list of my cabinet ministers for parliamentary approval within the first 14 days of being sworn in. They were all successfully vetted and approved, and they have hit the ground running. Indeed, I have so far appointed only 56 ministers and deputies so far, the smallest number of ministers and deputies appointed by any president in the Fourth Republic. We've also nominated our metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives, and they are going through the various phases of confirmation to complete the formation of our governance team at the local level. Establishing a robust code of conduct. I have committed to establishing a robust code of conduct and standards for all government officials to instill integrity and accountability from day one. Building on my previous efforts, we have reworked and finalized a significantly improved for government appointees. The comprehensive document launched last Monday addresses new areas including a prohibition on purchasing state property directly or indirectly, regulations regarding hampers, and clear monetary limits for official gifts. I've left my appointees in no doubt that I'll bring down the hammer swiftly and strongly if they breach any of these provisions. We promise to hold a national economic dialogue within the first 90 days to understand the state of our economy and build consensus on the way forward. On March 3rd and 4th, 2025, the government of Ghana convened the National Economic Dialogue at the Accra International Conference Center, bringing together partners including the private sector, civil society organizations, traditional authorities, and academia. The participants presented a comprehensive report with clear recommendations to restore macroeconomic in our economy. These included enhancing fiscal and monetary coordination, reviewing the foreign exchange regime, implementing major tax reforms, overhauling the public financial management system, reforming state-owned enterprises, strengthening expenditure controls, establishing a credible medium-term expenditure framework, promoting strict fiscal discipline on the part of government, and aggressively pursuing inclusive growth. The implementation of these recommendations has begun to yield results. The currency is becoming fairly stable, inflation is inching downwards, and we have reduced the excessive borrowing that had become the trademark of past governments. The report also provided valuable advice on promoting industrialized agriculture and aligning skills development with national priorities. We've taken this advice seriously, and implementation is underway, guiding our economic policy decisions. Following the recommendations of the National Economic Dialogue, we've amended the Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921, to introduce a debt rule that aims to reduce of debt to GDP to 45% by the year 2034. We've also established an operation rule to post an annual primary surplus of at least 1.5% of GDP on a commitment basis. The amendment also allows for the establishment of an independent fiscal council to monitor the government's adherence to the fiscal rules. This reform was executed in April 2025 before the September 2025 deadline under the IMF-supported program. What is also new about this law is the sanctions associated with breaches of the fiscal rules, which extend beyond just the Minister for Finance to include all ministers of state and heads of covered entities whose actions or influence contribute to the fiscal slippages. Government has commissioned the Auditor General and audit firms to audit payables and commitments to validate their legitimacy and values and provide recommendation for corrective measures. An amendment of the Public Procurement Act has also been making the issuance of a commitment certificate by the Minister for Finance a prerequisite for all procurements funded by the central government. Scrapping draconian taxes to alleviate hardship and ease the high cost of doing business. I promise to scrap the e-levy, the COVID levy, the 10% levy on bet winnings, and the emissions levy within my first 90 days in office. These tax expenditure measures were central to our 2025 budget statement. On April 2nd, 2025, I signed several bills into law, including the Electronic Transfer Levy, E-Levy Repeal Bill 2025, the Emissions Levy Repeal Bill, and the betting tax. We have delivered on 3 of these 4 specific tax repeals as promised. The COVID levy has intricate linkages to the existing IMF program. As a value-added tax, we have agreed with our multilateral partners to include it in our overall VAT rationalization exercise that is scheduled for September this year. We significantly exceeded our 120-day promises regarding overall tax reform by enacting other critical bills such as the Value-Added Tax Amendment Bill, the Income Tax Amendment Bill, the removal of VAT on motor vehicles, the Public Financial Management Bill, the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act, the Earmarked Funds Capping and Realignment Bill, the Gold Board Bill, the Energy Sector Levy Bill, and the Petroleum Revenue Amendment Bill. This swift legislative action underscores our commitment to providing relief and creating a more favorable economic environment. Reviewing taxes on industrial and agricultural imports. We committed to reviewing taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment for industrial and agricultural purposes within our first 90 days. My government has initiated the crucial review process. The results of this comprehensive review will guide policy decisions and be incorporated into the 2025 mid-year budget review and subsequently the 2026 budget, ensuring that we support these vital sectors effectively. Commencing the 24-hour economy policy. One of our signature policies for job creation and economic transformation is the 24-hour economy policy. We promise to commence drafting the needed legal amendments and prepare for its implementation within the first 120 days. The program is designed to drive structural transformation across our economy, built on pillars aimed at revamping sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism. The program rollout has commenced in earnest. The 24-hour Secretariat is collaborating with the Development Bank of Ghana and the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund to operationalize financing pillars for this program. Cabinet has approved amendments to the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act and the Labour Act to include specific clauses regarding for operations. These amendments aim to enhance social protection, create an enabling environment for the 24-hour economy policy, and promote conducive business and labor relations. Already several businesses are lining up to sign on to this policy. Some tangible actions have also been taken. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center has launched 24-hour premium services to eliminate delays for investors. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has launched a 24-hour passport service with the passport application headquarters operating 24/7. The DVLA used a 24-hour service to clear a long-standing 18 months backlog of licenses and will soon commission a new 24-hour service office at Adenta in Accra. The Youth Employment Agency is set to launch the Graduates in Corporate Support (GRICS) program which will attach graduates to firms operating 24 hours a day. This program is targeting 20,000 graduates. The YEA is also partnering with security agents, the fire, police, immigration services to provide security for 24-hour firms, and is working towards training and deploying 23,000 recruits for this purpose. Recognizing the need for robust security, the police service is establishing a 24-hour to improve 9 patrols and utilize technology supported by nationwide sensitization. The Minister of Energy and Green Transition is engaging the PURC to set up smart meters with a use tariff, charging a lesser tariff during the off-peak hours, a direct incentive for enterprises on the 24-hour economy policy. The Minister of Finance and Presidential Advisor on the 24-hour policy is finalizing a list of incentives for businesses to sign up for the initiative. The Ghana Publishing Company Limited has also begun 24-hour printing operations. In fulfillment of the 120-day commitment, we are pursuing new avenues of job creation, expanding employment opportunities, particularly for young graduates, and empowering the private sector as a key driver of sustainable job creation. We promise to establish an accelerated Export Development Council to promote exports as a key strategy for economic transformation. I'm glad to report that on Monday, I inaugurated a 19-member Accelerated Export Development Advisory Committee, which I chair myself. This committee will monitor export activities and performance across all ministries, departments, and agencies, including the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. We will not accept any business as usual attitude. The committee's functions include reviewing performance reports, monitoring targets, refining trade policy, deliberating on international trade issues, and providing policy guidance for exports. The export sector faces challenges, including cumbersome documentation processes, requirements from under-resourced regulatory bodies, and inefficiencies at our ports. According to the International Trade Center, these inefficiencies cost Ghana $4.3 billion yearly in losses, export losses. Sectors such as fisheries face contamination issues, and vital segments including women and SMEs remain underrepresented in our export sector. Establishing the Accelerated Export Development Authority Committee is crucial as a central platform for coordinating reforms, driving execution, and unlocking Ghana's full export potential. Under this Accelerated Exports Advisory Committee, our bold strategy to grow non-traditional export earnings by several multiples over the current $3.5 billion exported annually by at least 2020. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area offers an unprecedented opportunity, and we're positioning Ghana as a regional manufacturing and export hub. This year, we aim to triple the number of companies certified under the African Continental Free Trade Area Rules of Origin. We intend to scale up our export readiness, training for youth and women, and expand into new markets while consolidating our existing partnerships. Ghana will become a hub for products, digital services, knowledge exports, and our creative industries. Convening a national consultative conference on education. I promise to convene a national consultative conference on education to build consensus on the necessary improvements to our education sector. I'm glad to report that this promise has been fulfilled. Over 2,000 proposals were received, including a survey on free senior high school with 20,000 respondents. The report on the consultations will be ready by the end of 2025 and will be made public. The extensive consultation was crucial to building a genuine national consensus for sustainable reform in our education sector. The no academic fee policy for all first-year students in public tertiary institutions was a key promise to ease burden on families and expand access to higher education. My government has taken concrete steps to implement this. 452,940,012 Ghana cedis has been allocated for the payment of academic facility user fees for 156,294 first-year students in public tertiary institutions for the 2025 academic year. Get Fund has also been instructed to pay the fees directly to the tertiary institutions, ensuring timely disbursement. The No Fee Stress application portal has been developed and is now live for first-year students to register and authenticate their eligibility for this government funding. Introducing social intervention, free tertiary for persons with disability and Mahama Cares program. We committed to introducing vital social interventions like the free tertiary education for persons with disability and the Ghana Medical Trust, otherwise fund, otherwise called Mahama Cares. For free tertiary education for persons with disabilities, budget allocation for beneficiaries has been captured in the 2025 budget statement. The Minister for Education has made relevant data available for Get Fund so that it can prepare for the payment for this 2025-2026 academic year. The Ghana Medical Trust Fund is a bold national policy that provides direct financial support to Ghanaians who are suffering from chronic diseases that are not fully covered by our national health insurance scheme. It serves as a lifeline for chronic disease care. On April 29, 2025, I officially launched the fund at the University of Ghana Medical Center, where I pledged 6 months of my salary as my contribution start. Vice President Nana Jane also pledged 4 months of her salary to the Mahama Cares Fund, and I have since directed that every government appointee of mine should contribute at least the equivalent of 1 month's salary to the fund. This includes CEOs and all other appointees. I encourage every Ghanaian to contribute as you are willing and able. The short code for the contributions across all mobile networks is *225#. *225#. Disbursement to support needy patients will begin once the governing board is put in place. The draft Ghana Medical Trust Fund bill is ready and will be presented to Cabinet at its next sitting for approval and forwarded to Parliament when it resumes from recess. We are united in this mission to touch lives and bring health, healing and hope and joy to our people. To improve menstrual hygiene, management and remove barriers to education, I promise to reintroduce the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in primary and secondary schools. The 2025 budget statement allocated 292,400,000 Ghana cedis for this commitment, and I launched this initiative on the 24th of April 2025. Procurement is ongoing for over 6 million sanitary pads, with each student receiving 3 packets per term at the basic level and 4 packets per semester at the secondary level. Distribution will be done through the Ghana Education Service structure to all 261 districts, ensuring that no beneficiary is left out. The distribution will be accompanied by health education. A cornerstone of our commitment to good governance and accountability is tackling corruption and eliminating waste. I promise to initiate inquiries and forensic audits into several critical matters of public interest. This war against corruption continues unabated. The Minister for Health is reviewing the Auditor General's report on the COVID-19 expenditures. After the review, the appropriate actions will be taken. The Sputnik V scandal is under investigation. The Minister for Finance has launched an inquiry into the collapse of indigenous banks and financial institutions. And make no mistakes, facts will be unearthed, culprits will be punished, and lessons will be learned. The Minister for Energy and Green Transition has commenced investigations into the PDS scandal. Deloitte and Touche is conducting an independent audit of the National Cathedral project. I expect their report by the end of this month. A number of officials have been invited and questioned concerning the 13th African Games. On April 30th, 2025, the Attorney General filed 11 charges against the former National Signals Bureau Director General and others for various offenses. Charges will also be filed in the Accra SkyTrain and the National Service Ghost Name scandals. The Office of the Presidential Advisor on Corruption will continue to receive complaints and reports regarding graft for onward transmission to the Attorney.
So we were enjoying our president's speech on his 120-day social contract, but I'm sure you can access it on various social media platforms. You're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show, and if you're just tuning in, this is the Koko Digest Show, and we're about to have our main discussion. I'm sure that our president's speech has given you a fair idea into what we're discussing today, and I'm doing this with Nanaya Wasari and Clement Yabankwe, and we'll be taking our conversation to the 120-day social contract that our president told us about and everything he's done so far. And I mean, last week Thursday, we did speak a little bit on it, so we decided we have to go extensive into it. So yes, my dearest viewers, if you have anything to share with us, please do well to send in your comments to our WhatsApp number displayed onto your screens, onto our Facebook and YouTube live stream. And if the phone lines are opened, I will do my very best to inform you, so you can call and share your thoughts, your opinions, any expectations as well. But please make sure to keep it very decorous and brief as well. So gentlemen, how are we doing this morning? I mean, I think I keep asking this question, but yes, I know we are well.
It's very important to ask, because the way the dollar rate is going down, you don't know.
Joy in our hearts.
And then you don't know when someone's emotions will be going down, just like the way the exchange rates are dropping. But
even with the exchange rates, there are some people who are not happy about the exchange rates, the CD appreciating, especially those who have remote jobs and are earning in foreign currency. It means that the weight of the monies they get is going to drop. So there's that. And because time is fast spent, we will continue this conversation on Thursday. So even if we don't get to read your comments or get to pick up your calls, Thursday will be there for you to also share everything that's wanted to say. So let's do what we can so that we can exhaust the time left. So yes, 120 days of our President John Dramani Mahama. Clement is here looking very sharp with our screen to take us through. Let's go with the very first 5 for now. Over to you, Clement.
Okay, so that is Yaira, and I know you're looking very, very good. Today, as we said, we are really going to look into our 120-day social contract by the president. As at Thursday, that was last week Thursday, that was the end of the 120 days for he becoming the president. It's left with about 1,659 days more for the President John Dramani Mahama. And now he has been able to exhaust close to 125 days. So the question people are asking that, what's next? After you doing this contract with us, by the grace, you've been able to execute some of them, others too were not executed. So we'll quickly just go into it to find out which one has been executed and which one has not been executed. Yeah, so the first one on the list is nominate within the first 14 days. That's the complete list of cabinet ministers for parliamentary approval. Nana, was this really done?
This was done, but then I'd have to say that after nominating the governing the 14 days, the cabinet ministers for parliamentary approval, one would have expected that what would have followed would be maybe the governing council of, let's say, statutory institutions, just like the civil service just like the Public Service Commission and all that. But that hasn't been done yet as at now. The civil service does not have any governing council at the moment. Yet appointments are being done, which is not constitutionally correct, because appointments should be done in consultation with the governing councils of the various institutions concerned, and then also be done in accordance with the Public Services Commission. At the moment, it's not been done yet, so it's something that we have to talk about, because otherwise it's not all the appointments that the president has made, especially within the civil service, outside the service, making it unconstitutional. We all do the first 14 days is complete, just as you said, there's still more to do.
Okay, there's still more, but per his promise, this one is done.
Yes.
So you are going to give him 4% for that. So you are going to mark him actually, but it's 25.
25.
Yes. So 4% each. So summing up, making 100%.
What about the ones that are in session but are not actually like done complete?
When we break it down, it's either we'll give him 1, 2, 3, and as we go to the first one, we'll give it to him. So let's go to the second one, which says that constitutes the leanest and most efficient governance under the Fourth Republic in my first 90 days in office. Yaira, was he able to do this?
Well, considering the fact that we have 60 ministerial appointments and we have about 42 ministers, including regional, non-cabinet, and even cabinet, it is said this is one of the smallest government in, I think, the Fourth Republic. So, considering his predecessor's large government, and in comparison, it is. I think we'll give it to him.
We'll give it to him. So for that, there are two segments when it comes to this. He says constitutes the leanest and most efficient government under the Fourth Republic. For the leanest, we understand that it is there. But for the most efficient, it remains to be seen. You cannot judge an efficient government and its machinery by just 120 days. There are lots more to be done. But the leanest, and when you look at the coverage areas and all that, then you can give it to the president.
So then also, the performance in the early days is just like a race. Sometimes the person leading, it gives you the assurance that that person might win. So even for now, these few days that they've been in power, their performance could give us a little bit of
it's an indicator,
foresight into what would happen. But
yes, there's room. Currently, as appointed 56 ministers out of the 60. We are still looking out for the other, especially the health ministry. We have one minister, that is the current minister. There's no deputy. We are yet to see whether there will be deputy for that.
Well,
so we have 8%. The third one says that establish a robust code of conduct and standard for all government officials. What's to do this?
So he did that by climaxing. He climaxed the 120 days by establishing the robust code of conduct. And I must say, considering the inputs or the things that are in there, I must say that he's actually done that, because it leaves no room for ambiguity. He talks about how to even treat gifts. And even within that, he talks about what the level of gifts you are supposed to report back to say that, yes, we've actually done this, we've completed this. Then it's something that he's actually done.
Well, considering this trending story of Sami Jimfi, and I think whatever actions are taken after this issue would determine as to whether truly it's the crack. If he is supposed to receive any sort of crackdown, he will. And how in the speech he said he would. He's something about a hammer.
He will bring his hammer down.
So we want to see the hammer, not only the hammer, but the weight of the hammer.
Exactly, the weight of the hammer is very necessary. So now the president.
But we're not trying to say somebody should be punished, please.
12%. So the fourth one says that hold a national economic dialogue to discuss the true states of the economy and prepare a homegrown fiscal consolidation program to guide the budget. Was he able to do this?
So on 3rd March, that is earlier this year, 3rd March to about 6th March, we had a series of economic debates. The finance minister and then the president invited various sectors of the economy, private individuals, government officials, sectors of the government, and all that, to come and hold this particular economic dialogue at the International Conference Center. So then you can actually mark it that he's done. The homegrown fiscal consolidation plan is also something that we have done. You can say that he's done as well, because when you look at the fiscal budget and homegrown fiscal consolidation program means that we are trying to sort of not get into a budget deficit when we have the budget done. We are supposed to make sure that we are going to be indigenous in terms of generating our own capital. So that one is something that has been done.
So that one is also ticked. So as I said, the president is having 16% out of 100.
We are following up very much on his
as our businessman also, I think we need some input from you too for the fourth point, the homegrown fiscal consolidation program in comparison to even the CD's appreciation.
Exactly.
You should give us something.
This one, when we follow the discussion, Mr. Martin made us understand that the implementation of the gold board, it has really cushioned the economy. And we know that currently exports of cocoa is around 830 million United States dollars. Cocoa gold is 2.3 billion. So, and we have current gold reserve in the Bank of Ghana is around 32.2. So all these are structures that they put in place. As Nana said, full-grown expenditure. When it comes to expenditure, this government misunderstand that they're going to cut down expenditure, especially of ministers they're going to appoint. So looking at all these things, we think they are really doing well. That is what I would say. But moving forward, we will still follow it keenly, so that as they've cut the expenditure on the ministerial side, they will not put it another side too. So let's go to the fifth one. He said, within my first 90 days in office, scrap the following draconian taxes to elevate hardship and ease the high cost of doing business. That is one. E-levy. Is e-levy gone?
It's gone.
Yes.
COVID levy.
It's still around.
It's still around. Okay. 10% levy on betting winnings.
So the bet winnings are sports people. You can give
the bet winnings. The bet winnings is gone.
It's gone.
And then the emission levy is also gone.
It's gone.
Now,
so we are left with the COVID
levy. The issue is the COVID levy, and then the reason why the COVID levy is not gone is because we went into an IMF program just before this government was the president was sworn in, and the last tranche of the IMF money that came was in December 6th or so, just before the elections. December 5th, that is, just before the elections. And then the reason why this is not being cut out, or the NDC wanted to cut out, it was one of the main reasons for our economic recovery. The COVID levy being there, that it's supposed to be part of our arrangement with IMF. So we cannot sort of go away from an arrangement that we have done with them, irrespective of the fact that it's a new government. So that is the reason why, and the president himself mentioned it in his address, that is the reason why the COVID levy is still there. But once we are able to come out of this economic recovery, that we are acting, looking at the exchange rates, and then we are actually looking at the inflation rates. Right now we are having inflation is reducing. It's not reducing, it's at a decreasing level, or you can actually see that it's actually come down at all. So looking at all these factors, then you can actually say that the COVID levy, although there are four things that he wanted to take out, the COVID levy remaining means that he's actually maybe done what he's supposed to do.
So just to add up to the reason why the COVID levy is still there, because COVID levy is also another form of value added, and the president makes understand that he can't just take one component of VAT and wait for the rest to be there. So they are going to do a whole review on value added tax, and they are in the process preparing the bill, and they'll present before Parliament. When Parliament is able to go through the process and passes this VAT, he assured us that the COVID levy would equally go.
Okay, but then I also have a question though. We were made to believe in a way that if these taxes were scrapped, we were going to run at a loss because the sort of revenue generation coming from these taxes was going to help with development and all of that. But it seems as though even though these taxes have been scrapped, we are still afloat. So if you guys can, speak on that for us, because you remember the previous government made it look as though if they didn't implement e-levy, Ghana was going to fall apart and things like that.
Let me make it clear what the government said. He said that the e-levy is going to play the magic, and if we accept e-levy, there's no way we will go to IMF. But here's the case that we accepted e-levy, we're still going to IMF. So this issue,
e-levy, it was.
Yes, let's say that. Okay. The reason why the e-levy, betting tax and emission is gone, but yes, so we could see the economy is still working, is because the finance minister just made us understand that there are other measures. Example, it goes to the tax returns point of view, they are cutting off that tax returns from 6 to 4%. So the amount of money they are supposed to always keep there for people when they want to count for tax returns has been cut off. So that amount of money can now be able to service what's e-levy, betting tax, emission levy.
And then also because you mentioned the tax returns account, we are always running a surplus on that particular one.
Exactly.
We are charging individuals e-levy and all that. So it's just because this government has been able to maybe sort of redirect those taxes into where the e-levy proceeds should have gone. So that's what they've done, and then they've now sort of taken the e-levy to reduce the burden on government.
Okay. So I have a question for our viewers. So dearest viewers, with the way our economy is going at the moment, if the e is reintroduced, would we accept it? Because it seems the inflation has dropped, economy is beginning to stand on its feet. So e-levy, considering how much revenue was supposed to generate, if it's reintroduced to generate all this revenue for us and there's a promise of it being used properly, will we accept it? So I'd like to hear from...
We will not accept it because it's a promise. So but now here we'll give the president 3% out of 4.
Okay.
Because still the COVID
levy.
No, but as he said,
the COVID levy has a very valid reason why...
As you mentioned also, you cannot just take one aspect of value added tax.
But he said, I'm going to scrap the following. The word is scrap. But this thing has not been scrapped. E-levy is gone.
Yeah, right.
Betting is so we will not give him the 4. We will give him 3.
With my question that you want to answer for the view, would you not accept this levy being introduced for more revenue generation?
It was tax upon tax. A burden. E-levy, when e-levy came to this, I was not doing a lot of electronic transactions because sometimes it's kind of headache. Yes. So let's go to the point 6 quickly.
No, wait. I want to
we would have to wrap up. Sorry,
yes.
We would have to wrap up on the 5th point, like I mentioned that we should do the first 5 because our time is fast spent. But Thursday we will go deeper. Hopefully we'll be able to exhaust everything. So let's hold our horses and just summarize on the 5th point. Then on Thursday we continue.
So
well, for me, the reason why I would not be happy when the e-levy is introduced, because when you look at the amount of money that is sipped through the economy, through corruption, through exorbitant expenses by government agencies and other sectors or arms of government, and you look at the amount of revenue that was being generated from the e-levy, you realize that if you actually treat those leakages in our expenditure, in our fiscal policies, we'll be able to generate even more than what we'll be generating from the e-levy. That is the reason why I'll do it. And when you look at this particular government, and when you look at their fiscal approach, it's been touted heavily that it is yet to make expenditure. The government is yet to make expenditure. The government is to make expenditure. But when you look at how the country is running, and then you realize that they are yet to make expenditure, yet exchange rates are dropping. They are yet to make expenditure, yet other sectors of the economy are actually seeing growth. And you realize that this is something laudable, proper.
Okay, so Nana, the comes in. I was marking the president. So out of 5, he's 20%, but now he's having 19% out of 20. So 1% drop.
Well, would you classify that as an A or A plus or
99?
A plus because 19 over 20 is a good thing. It's a good thing.
Right. Thank you so much. My cherished viewers, I would still like to hear from you. We would still like to hear from you, but all too soon our time is up. So on Thursday, we will continue this conversation. Don't go anywhere. Call a friend, text a friend, and join us on Thursday bright and early. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you soon.
Clog TV, beyond the policy.